This is going to be cable tricep kickbacks. This is going to be bilateral, so that means we're going to be using both arms at the same time. You can do this one arm at a time and the same rules will apply, but sometimes it's a little easier to keep things even if you run both at the same time and just focus on your weak side doing harder work. Now you'll see I've got two really long handles. Some gyms will have these handles for things like pull downs. So if you can find these, they're great. You would just take your plastic or your rubber handle and just slide it to where it's straight. Now you can do the same thing if you get two ropes, and I would just pull them to the end and I would set one on each side. It's very important that we have really long handles. Whenever you do this exercise, we need those handles to split and for you to be able to pull back behind you. So if they're too short, you won't be able to do that very well. So that's why you need to get long handles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to grab all the way around the cloth and the handle. It doesn't matter terribly how you grab it. I like to have the handle facing away and my palm is in contact with the cloth there. So when I go to make a wrist turn, I can turn it a little bit easier and I'm not fighting the handle. Now, whenever we're setting up the cables, you want to make sure that it's relatively high because I'm going to end up with a good 45-degree movement here. Whenever I get down to the bottom, I want my cable to be about 45 degrees. So depending on how high you sit it will determine how tall you need to stand. So for myself, because it is so low and it's only right above my head, I can stand pretty well upright and I'm going to end with a really good angle. But if it's really high, just know that you need to bend your knees, push your butt out a little bit, and you're going to have to control your elbows a little bit more. So that brings me into the movement. With the kickbacks, you want to make sure that you are ending with a great big elbow bend, but it does not matter terribly if your elbows are off of your ribs a little bit. I do want to control them and stabilize them, but they can swing forward and back because that's part of the kickback motion. So for myself, I'm going to start them right above the ribs. I'm going to lean forward until I feel like, okay, this is a good ending position with a good stretch on my triceps. I'm going to break this into two movements, and as I get better with it, I'll get more fluid. So I'm going to start by pressing straight down in a tricep extension, and then pulling back in a shoulder extension. From there, I can add in a wrist turn, and then I can reverse. The wrist turn is not terribly important, but it does add a little bit to this exercise. So to go again, extend down, pull back, reverse. Big elbow bend at the top, and then as I get better, it gets to be more fluid. Those two movements are merging into one, making sure I get my stretch at the top, keeping my body angle to make that happen, and pulling back like I'm trying to get my thumbs to come touch my back pockets. Now, as you go through, you do want to keep your elbows stable and even, but they don't have to be on your ribs the whole time. They can flare. You can turn your hands out. You can turn your hands in. Everything else will stay the same here. You just need to make sure that you correct your body in order to get that bend. So if it's really high, you may end up coming closer and doing a similar movement. If it's really low, you're going to have to compensate. Now, the whole time you do want to try to focus on having good posture. Chest up and through the shoulders and shoulders staying stable. But it can be okay if you get a little slouchy on it because regardless, you're going to get your tricep work anyways.